Hey everyone, welcome back. In this section, I'm going to discuss about different mouse and keyboard operations that are available within Playwright. I'll cover the most common operations that you'll be using mostly in your automation projects at the enterprise level. But then documentation is already there in case you need any specific operation that I'm not able to cover in this particular section. You can straight away go to the official documentation, which I'll be walking you through, right? Now, it's not possible to cover each and every method that is available, but I'll guide you through the process of reading the documentation and going through each and every method in case it is required in specific very edge case scenario that you're looking for. So when we talk about mouse and keyboard operations, this is very helpful. And in the scenarios, if for example, you have certain web element wherein you have to hover over that particular web element, mouse over, do the right click, do the double click, etc. So these are certain mouse operations that you might have to do. Then in terms of keyboard operations, you might be able to, or you might be required to do certain keyboard operations or type in the key in a sequential fashion. For example, when we say .fill, we are sending the text as a whole and it fills in a particular text box, right? There might be a requirement in your application that the scenario asks person to type numbers one by one, right? So in those sort of scenarios, you can use keyboard operations to type in, say, for example, pin, okay, 4-digit pin, 6-digit pin, etc. So that's where keyboard and mouse operation, understanding of these is important and how you are going to use it. Now, first thing we want to cover is the very common mouse hover. Okay, so if you see Amazon.com, I go to this account and list, right? So if I just move the mouse over account and list, you will see the pop-up appears here when there are certain links. So in case I have to go ahead and click on any of this link, then I have to first mouse over and then click on any of the link, right? So if I don't mouse over, this is not appearing and my script is going to fail, right? Similarly, gift card or Prime, you will see these cards open only after mouse over. Similarly, on other website, which is Flipkart, if I go to the login, you will see the different menu options below login appear only after mouse over. Okay, so let's quickly see how we can write a script in Playwright with JavaScript to mouse over on this particular login button here, and then say, for example, click on my profile or whatever options are available there. Okay, so the first thing is I have created a test script already. So just a dummy script here wherein I'll cover all of the mouse operation and keyboard operation. So the first test that we are writing is the mouse hover, and we will go, first thing is we want to open a particular application where we want to mouse over, or with whichever web element we want to mouse over. So here we'll open flipkart.com, right? So I'll say go to flipkart.com, and the next thing is I want to basically get the locator of a web element where I want to mouse over. Okay, so the locator for this login, right? So I'll simply open the Selectors Hub XPath plugin, okay, and then to inspect, I'll click on this inspect icon here and simply inspect this particular login button there, right? And you'll see that this looks dynamic. Okay, so because you'll see that there is a indicator here, this class looks dynamic, and it looks like because it's a random number in there. So what we'll do is maybe we'll just, instead of using Selectors Hub, I'll simply go the traditional way, because not all the times the plugins might be helpful. So we'll simply go ahead and say select the login button. Here it's a div, right? And then we know within there it has this text login. Okay, so let me try writing the XPath. So this is basically div, all right, and then div contains text login. Okay, yep, so it figured out that there is one web element, right? So most probably this should work. So we'll copy this and use it, right? So I'll simply say page.locator. Okay, so first we have to figure out the locator. So this is the locator that we have figured out for the login button at the top, right? And then we have to hover over it, right? So we know that there is a method hover. So we'll simply say hover method. Okay, we'll call the hover method on that particular locator. Okay, now here within the hover method, you will see there are certain options available. So you can force the hover as well, which is a Boolean value. By default, it's false. If you want to force it, you just pass that force as true. Then there are certain modifiers. So for example, you want to press a key on the keyboard and then mouse over. You can also do that by passing in the modifier as well. Similarly, for the position, you want to specifically mouse over on a particular coordinate. You can pass in the position as X and Y coordinate, and then timeout and trial as well, which is a boolean. Okay, timeout is you want to specify a timeout that after this particular time, the step, if the hover is not successful, it times out, right? So these are certain options available. And in terms of documentation, you can straight away see it here, or if you go to the documentation here, you will see all these details. If you go to the hover method, you will see what all arguments it accepts. You will be able to see all those arguments, right? The different options of force, modifiers. This is no wait after is deprecated, but position, timeout, etc. are all options that are available. Okay, these are the arguments that you can pass. But as of now, it's for hovering over on a particular locator, hover method should be absolutely fine. And that's pretty much it for hovering over on that particular login. Now what I'll do is I'll wait a little bit. So I'll just put a timeout, right? I'll wait for a particular timeout. So for example, 4 seconds before the script closes or page closes. So you are able to see that the hover is happening, and you can see the submenu below the login. Okay, so this looks all good. Now let me go ahead and execute this particular script. Okay, so let me clear and run this particular script. So to run this test, npx playwright test, and specify the file name, which is mouse and keyboard spec.js, and I want to run it in the headed mode. That means I want to open the browser and see what all actions or steps are being performed. So double hyphen headed argument, okay, and then double hyphen project is equal to Chromium. I just want to execute it in one browser, which is Chrome browser. That's why I have passed in the project as Chromium, because in the config file I have enabled all the browsers, most of the browser configuration. So if I don't pass this project, it will go ahead and execute in all the browsers, right? So multi-browser execution will happen. So I just want to control it in one browser. So that's why I'm just running it in the Chromium. Now let me run this and see what happens. So it's running the test. Browser has been opened. It has opened the website. So looks like there is some issue with the locator, but let me check. Let the script fail and then we'll see. Okay, so the timeout exceeded because the locator didn't work. Okay, so that was the issue there. So yeah, definitely the issue is with the locator, and that's what we have to figure out. Okay, so let me go ahead quickly here. And even though it says 1 of 1, and that's the issue you might face in real time, and that's where you have to figure out what is the best locator, which when you write is not going to impact or break, right? So you'll see this is what appeared, right? But then this we need to log in, or we need to hover over this login, right? So let me go ahead and just say, for example, this particular login, which is not, this whole thing is div, right? But below div we have, if we simply go ahead and let's say within div we have this span, right? So if we just focus on the span instead of the whole div, that should, we say span instead of div. Let's see if that works. Okay, so I've changed it. Let me re-execute. Okay, so this time you can see that after 4 seconds, this particular XPath worked, and you can see the test as passed, and also the submenu appeared, right? So the issue was not with anything but the locator, and that's where I always say in your automation frameworks or automation learning journey, it doesn't matter how much you learn around the framework and complexities and build a complex automation framework. If your locators are not robust, your automation framework is of no use, and that's where you need to learn all the locator strategies. Plugins will help you up to some extent, but then you need to understand the technicalities of how you are going to write the locator in case a particular locator doesn't work. What is the best locator that you can go ahead and write that is robust and very less flaky, that will make your scripts really good, and then you won't be having these kind of failures, right? So I'm not saying this is the best locator that I have written, but yes, understanding the strategies and then figuring out which locator to use is what you should be focusing a lot. And I have created dedicated series on CSS selectors and XPath, which you can go ahead and use. And in Playwright, not only CSS XPath you should be focusing on, I have covered the Playwright locator strategies and methods that you should be using, right? Which will be less flaky as compared to XPath and CSS as well. Okay, so that's all for this video on mouse over and how you are going to use mouse over. In the next video, I'll cover more examples of mouse actions and keyboard actions. Thank you. See you in the next one.